Hello and welcome back to our live event tonight. Please let me know that you can hear me. Dimitris, can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Hi, it's good to have you here and welcome. Some of you are back and we already had one event tonight, so happy to have you here again. And today we have another topic to discuss, and of course with us is Dimitris Kavakas, and he will be presenting our topic, which is IVF refund, IVF money back guarantee programs, case studies. Dimitris Kavakas, he is the CEO at Redia IVF Travel, and of course he will start with his presentation first, and after that it will be your time to ask your questions. So remember, you can type all those questions in the chat section, and Dimitris will answer them for you one by one. And well, I just forgot, but I also need to remind you that it's the Stronger Together initiative. This wouldn't be possible if it weren't for our partners. So once again, please have a look at our ambassadors and partners that have been able to help us, and with them we were able to simply start our Stronger Together initiative to give you a chance to ask your question to top fertility experts. As you know, we are here every single day, twice a day even, to support you throughout those tough times that we are now all in. So, well, just wanted to mention this. And right now, I believe this is it from me. Dimitris, are you ready to begin?
Yes, thank you, Caroline. First of all, let me say that it's an honor for me to be an ambassador, to be invited to support Stronger Together, which is a great initiative. And all my thanks to my IVF Answers for this unique and important innovative initiative that you are developing. And I'm really glad to be part of it.
Perfect. So, we are happy to have you on board with us for sure as well.
Tonight, I was asked to talk about the IVF refund programs, but most of all to talk about some case studies, obviously, without mentioning any names or identity cases, just to give you some ideas after speaking a bit about the programs, to give you some ideas of how former patients out of several patients that we have had so far and succeeded in the program have benefited from that. So to start by answering the basic question that I'm hearing again and again: can I get a refund if my IVF cycle fails? Well, the answer is no, you cannot get a refund for a single cycle, because obviously nobody can guarantee a success in IVF. I'm in many of my presentations and speeches around the globe, as I'm invited, I'm mentioning that IVF is a unique process in a sense that no matter how good the factors you have, no matter if you have the perfect environment and the perfect fertility material and whatever, you cannot guarantee that you will have 100% success. There's always a percentage of failure in IVF. So refund is given in an accumulative process. So that is why all the programs that offer refund ask you to do a number of cycles before they give you a refund. So this is done by the calculation that on an average, if you take an average patient will need about 3 cycles to get success. So that is why most of the IVF's refund guarantee programs, including our own Redia's one, includes 3 cycles of IVF. So if you're talking about refund guarantee program IVF cycles, yes, you can get a refund, but you cannot get a refund if you just go to an IVF cycle and fails. So what exactly is guaranteed? This is an issue that you have to look at because different providers of refund guarantee programs provide different guarantees. So it matters what is the guarantee. Is a guarantee a positive pregnancy test? There are several providers, particularly fertility clinics in different countries, that they tell you that come to us, we'll give you a couple of cycles or 3 cycles, and if you don't get pregnant, we give you your money back, a percentage of that or full. But what they guarantee is a positive pregnancy test. This is easy to achieve, but there's on average 15% chance of miscarriage, particularly in the first weeks of pregnancy. So if you go for that, you lose your money. Then another possible guarantee is the heartbeat or the 3rd month of gestation guarantee. Again, this is much better than the positive pregnancy test. However, there's a small percentage. It's not 15%, but it may be 1 or 2%. People who may face the unpleasant experience of miscarriage in the after the heartbeat or after the 3rd month of gestation, and who are going to lose their money if they not have such a plan. So the 3rd one is live birth, and this is what our programs Redia is offering. So it's basically a live birth. Get your baby or your money back. That's the model behind that. So it's 100% money back guarantee. Again, there are providers who are providing less than that. They provide 70% or whatever. Obviously, there are age limitations, and we also offer some programs that are not 100% guaranteed, but I will talk about that later on. When do I benefit from a refund guarantee program? Well, I see 3 main elements here. First is financial worries. There are people who are worried about how much it will cost them to achieve the result. At the end of the day, what you want, what every couple wants, or what every woman wants, is a baby. So to reach your desire, you need to spend some money in doing IVF. So a financial worry of how much that will be is an issue. So a refund guarantee program gives you the solution to that. It tells you that this is how much it will cost you. So you either get this program, you pay this much, and you either get your baby or your money back. There are people who have previous failed cycles, and they spend some money, and they cannot face the uncertainty of how much it will cost them. So these are the people that also want to get into the refund guarantee program. That they say, I've spent a lot of money. I don't want to keep on wasting money. I want a refund guarantee program. And at the end of the day is the peace of mind that you get the financial freedom and you get the stress out, the financial stress out of you, and you concentrate on your treatment to get your result. Again, I touched on this, so this is the moment to speak more about the percentage of refund. Do I get 100% refund? Obviously, it depends on the provider of the refund guarantee programs. So you can do your checks, you can you can look at the different providers and what they promise to provide. What I can speak about is our programs as Redia. We have eligibility criteria. So the percentage depends on the eligibility criteria and on the program that you're in. So if you meet the age criteria, and the age criteria is mainly for own egg IVF. For own egg IVF, we have age criteria for the 100% refund, and this is 37 years of age. If you are over 37, if you are 38 or 39, then you are eligible for a 50% refund program. And obviously, there is no refund program available for own egg IVF for 40 and over. I have to make a note here. That doesn't mean that it's impossible for someone at the age of 40 or 42 to have a baby with her own eggs. But financially and as an insurance provider of guarantee is not viable because the odds are not good. So that is why it's not able to offer such a program. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. Okay, it's not the medical condition that I'm talking about. It's all an insurance algorithm that calculates the risk, and risk is very high for 40 years old onwards for own egg IVF. In egg donation, there's basically no age criteria, but age criteria are applied by the fertility clinic. It depends on the fertility clinics that the program happens, that the program is implemented. And if the fertility clinic applies an age limit, then we have to apply that limit. But we don't have a specific age limit for egg donation treatment. And obviously, there are a number of medical criteria that needs to be applied. So, and again, this is to make a risk management. I think I will speak about the specific eligibility criteria in the end of the presentation. Another issue or question that is frequently asked: are medication including the cost? It depends again who is the provider. Certain competitors of ours do not include medication into the program. We do. We think that it's fair that we include medication, so you know exactly how much you will pay for the program. If you have to pay a refund program that doesn't include medication, and you pay medication on top of that, medication in IVF, especially the own egg IVF, is 1/3 of the price. It's basically misled you. So we don't see that this is ethical. So we believe that it's ethical to offer you an all-inclusive program to include all the basic costs. Obviously, we cannot include costs that cannot be predicted, but all the possible costs that we know that you will definitely need, we include in a program, so you have the financial freedom. And I need to specify here that we are not a pharmacy to provide medication. We cover the cost of medication. So we either provide them through a partner pharmacy, if there is a possibility to use one, or you buy the medication and we refund the cost of it. Now, coming to the case studies, I will speak about 3 case studies. One that succeeded in the 3rd cycle, one succeeded in the 2nd, and one in the 3rd. So just to give you an idea that what can happen. a success in the third cycle. It was a couple. I won't mention obviously names. I won't mention nationality. I won't mention cities or whatever, or age. I only mentioned that there was a couple with own eggs IVF that started the program. We had they paid the amount of money for the program, and they could do up to 3 cycles with everything included, medication, as many frozen transfers, etc., until success was achieved. We had 2 transfers in the first cycle, and obviously, if you calculate the cost of the stimulation IVF plus the extra transfer, you will see how much that will cost. Unfortunately, it was not successful. And then we did a second cycle, again, another stimulation cycle. We produced more embryos. In the first transfer, we had 4 blastocysts, and we had 2 transfers, 2 blastocysts in each transfer. It was not, both of them were not successful, unfortunately. In the second stimulation cycle, we had only 2 blastocysts developed, and we had 1 transfer. We had the pregnancy, but the pregnancy ended in a miscarriage in the first 6-7 weeks of pregnancy. And then we had the third stimulation cycle, where we had only 1 blastocyst developed, and hopefully this produced a pregnancy and is an established pregnancy past the 3rd month, and we are hopeful that it will produce the live birth. This is a case, for example, some of you may look at that, a case of somebody who got into the program and actually had not only what they wanted to get, but they had financial gains because they paid much less than they would pay for all these cycles and transfers to have the success. Another case was a case of egg donation. In that case, we had it went very well in the first stimulation of the first donor. We did every cycle is a when we talk about egg donation is a donor stimulation cycle. So we had a stimulation of a donor. We got the eggs. We developed embryos, and we had enough embryos to do three transfers. Actually, we had in this specific case we had 5 blastocysts. So we transferred 2 in the first transfer, not successful. Transferred 2 in the second, again not successful, and then we transferred the third one. The third transfer was 1 embryo. We had a pregnancy, but it ended up in a miscarriage, unfortunately. So we moved to the second cycle, and the second cycle. We did the stimulation. We had the result. I think we had 4 blastocysts developed in the second cycle, but in the first transfer of the 2 embryos, we had a pregnancy, and we have a live birth after 9 months. So that obviously there are 2 remaining embryos at the clinic. These embryos belong to the couple. And if they ever decide to go for a second baby, they can just go to the clinic and pay for a frozen transfer. And hopefully, if everything goes well, if it succeeds, they may have a second baby. I'm mentioning that just to clarify that embryos belong to the patient. It doesn't belong to the clinic or to the company or whatever. And finally, the third cycle I want to mention is the cycle that ended in success in the first cycle. We had a single woman in that case that went for egg and sperm donation. That was a double donation, not an embryo adoption, not a frozen embryo, but we had a stimulation of the egg donor, and we fertilized all the eggs that we received from the donor with the sperm donor, and we developed embryos. If I remember well, we had 4 blastocysts in this case. The first transfer failed of the first 2 embryos. But the second, which was the first frozen transfer, was successful, and we had the live birth of twins. Both of them succeeded. Now, I need to mention, because I'm talking about blastocysts and transfers of embryos, it's up to you to decide if you want a transfer of 1 embryo or 2 embryos. It's not our decision. It's not even the clinic's decision. The doctor may recommend based on your age and your medical history, but at the end, it's your decision. We don't have any judgment on that. If you decide to have single embryo transfers, you can have as many transfers as needed until you get success, one by one. All these cases are cases of patients that they decided that they want 2, and they decided that they want the possibility, the option of twins. The twins. It's not. It didn't happen out of the accident. Okay, so I mentioned and described 3 cases that each of the cases succeeded in different cycles. So basically, a refund guarantee program, as I said in the beginning, gives you the financial peace of mind. It may succeed in the first cycle, and you may say in the first cycle that you actually paid more than you would have paid if you didn't have the refund guarantee program. However, just to have the peace of mind, even the chance to have more than 1 transfers in the first cycle is important, just to understand that you don't have to be bothered by financial uncertainty. But there are many cases, as I said, that do not succeed in the first cycle, and they need a second or even a third one to succeed. So that is why you have the option of getting a refund guarantee program. Finally, last slide before I start answering question is the eligibility criteria. Obviously, not everybody can be accepted into the program, because we have certain risk management to minimize. We will never eliminate risk, and we have paid refunds. Obviously, nobody wants to pay refunds, but we do pay refunds. And it's good that we don't pay very often, because it's in our interest and it's in your interest to have a baby. So we want to give you that's what you desire, and we obviously don't want to lose money. But if that happens, this is part of the business we're in. So, however, we do some screening to make sure that we don't get on board cases that are very risky and almost with little chances to succeed. I talked about age limits, so I'm going to focus on the first 3 points, which are the medical criteria. First of all, we ask for hormonal checks. Now, hormonal checks applies to everybody, but applies more to the own egg IVF, because we want to check the ovarian reserve, which is age, and the AMH mainly. but it can apply to the egg donation in a sense that we need to check specific things in the hormones. For example, the TSH. If the TSH is too high, we will ask you to get an endocrinology treatment to lower the TSH before we get into the treatment, before you get into the program. Ultrasound check scan, it may apply for on-egg IVF because part of that is the intrafollicle count, that we check the ovarian reserve of the follicles in your ovaries in the first days of the cycle. But we also check the endometrium. This applies to every case, even the egg donation case, where we want a normal endometrium without abnormalities such as fibroids, myomas, or adenomyosis, or other issues that eliminate the possibility of any pregnancy. And also, we ask for sperm check. Obviously, when you use own sperm, because we have cases with sperm donation where we don't need that. We need to check the quality of the sperm before we proceed. Okay, and that was all from me as far as the presentation is concerned. Now, Caroline, help me. How do I get on to the questions?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dimitris, for your presentation. Lots of useful information. And yes, it is time for our Q&A session. I will be publishing the questions one by one. Remember, you can type them all in the chat section, and Dimitris will be happy to help you out with it as well. Let's go for the very first question here. Let's say after a couple of months of pregnancy, the doctor advises of miscarrying the baby due to heart or other problems. In this case, is the money refundable after the 3 cycles?
Yes, if the miscarriage is a medical reason that the doctor advises to do, yes, you can either continue. If that was the first cycle, you continue in the next one, in the second. If it's the last one, you can get your refund. But this is not a voluntary thing. We do not accept abortion as a choice unless there is a serious medical problem. If the baby, as you said in this example, had issues that would not survive, and the doctor advises of abortion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so only if it's a medical reason in such case.
Yeah, if it's a medical reason, if the baby will not survive, not by choice, because yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your question and your answer to it. So let's see. Next question. Do you work with clinics in countries where non-anonymous donation is allowed? Could you give a few cost examples, as I believe it may vary from country to country? I mean, costs for guarantee, the donation program.
Sorry.
Non-anonymous.
We talk about, we work, currently we work with clinics in more than 10 countries, and we are expanding constantly. We are at the moment, we use this time of the coronavirus crisis to do some reorganization work and expand our network in many places, including the UK. Is something that we are planning to do very quickly, because we don't yet have UK clinics, but we will be having very soon. Regarding anonymous and non-anonymous donation, yes, this is legislation-wise. Every country has its own. The first non-anonymous donation country that I think about, obviously, is the UK. Is Portugal, and Portugal is one that we work, and we can. You can have that non-anonymous treatment. It depends on the country. For example, Ukraine, and Cyprus or Georgia, these kind of countries, they have a mixed legislation. So you have anonymous donation for donors that they provide you, but you are always free to bring your own donor with you. So that makes it a known or non-anonymous donation, or you can choose a donor from a donor agency anywhere and send the donor to that clinic. So these kind of countries, like, as I said, Cyprus, talking about North Cyprus in this stage, not the South, Ukraine or Georgia can cater for that kind of non-anonymous donation.
Okay, perfect. And are you able to provide some costs, like some examples at least? Is it possible?
It's not very easy to offer a cost, because we're talking about egg donation, or different treatments have different costs at different clinics and different countries. So
yes,
as you can understand, we work with so many clinics and so many countries that an idea for egg donation, you would expect something in the region of £14,000 for countries like Greece and Czech Republic or Ukraine. And you would expect more, £16,000 or more, depending on the clinic, because we even have clinics in Spain that cost £21,000 or £22,000. So it depends on the clinic that of your choice. The price varies from £16,000 to over 20,000 in Spain.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for answering this question. Okay, next question is right here. So, do the immune system blood tests are they covered in the center? For example, MTHF test or any other tests? I believe in the program, right?
No, immune system blood tests are not covered in the program. These are screening tests or extra tests like PGS if it's needed, or anything extra that may occur is an extra payment, is not included in the program. The program covers the basic IVF cost, like stimulation cost, the monitoring cost, the medication, the IVF medication cost, the transfer cost, and the freezing costs.
Okay. Thank you so much again for explaining this. We have another question, actually, a longer one. I am currently on IVF donor egg guarantee program with a clinic in Alicante, Spain. I had my first cycle in October last year, but it failed. I am trying to stay positive for my next 2 attempts, but if they both fail, I have a 100% refund. So would the clinic then allow me to use the refund guarantee program again, or would I then look to use another clinic for this guarantee program? Thank you.
Well, I don't know what the clinic and the program you're in, but I can talk about our program. Our program offers the choice of being of changing a clinic within the program. So we had cases in the past. Actually, one of the cases mentioned as a case study was a couple that changed the clinic from the cycle 1 to cycle 2. So if you are in a program, you can change. Obviously, if the clinic you want to go has a much more expensive price, you have to pay the difference, or you can choose another clinic in the same range of prices without paying anything extra. But you can stay into our program by changing clinic or changing countries, actually, not just clinics. So Now, if a couple is in a egg donation program, has done 3 cycles of egg donation, I don't think any other guarantee program will take them on board afterwards if they fail. That means there is a serious issue. It may be an issue, for example, if there is an issue of the sperm of the partner, and that is the reason for failure. We need to see what is the reason, and they accept the fact that they will go with double donation. Yes, they can be accepted into a program, but if there is a serious issue why they keep on failing, that may be a case for not being accepted into the program.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much again for explaining how it works and answering this question. We have another question right here. I am 33, AMH 7.9, no underlying health conditions. My husband's sperm is normal. Will I be eligible for refund guarantee program in your clinic in London? And if so, will it be full or partial refund?
I don't have the information what AMH 7.9. There are 3 different ways of calculating if it's NG or if it's PMOL. So I don't have that clarification. If we're talking about NG, yes, you are eligible in that sense. If everything else is fine, 33, obviously you are eligible. We don't have a clinic in London yet, so you have to wait a few months, but hopefully if you get in touch with us, we'll be soon. And yes, we will be a full refund, 100%.
Okay.
But if it's an AMH PMO, you are way under the limit, which is AMH 11.
Okay.
If it's PMO. Yeah.
Exactly. You can just get back to us with more details if you wish, okay, as well, okay? In the meantime, of course, we will go to the next question. Are there any recent studies of the baby's health that comes from IVF egg donation?
I'm not aware of any studies that mentioned negatively this. I don't think there's any relation of health issues there. Egg donation is an IVF process, so it doesn't matter who provides the eggs. If the egg donor is healthy, usually the clinics we work, and most of the clinics, obviously, because we guarantee a refund, we only work with the best clinics because, like, you don't want to lose your money, we don't want to lose ours. So we don't work with dodgy clinics. So the clinics we work, they all have very high standards of choosing donors, screening donors genetically, psychologically, and medically. So they guarantee that what you're getting is a fully healthy egg from a donor. So there have been no issues on this.
Okay, thank you so much for answering this one. And actually, there's a follow-up from the previous patient, yes, regarding it is PMO. Is it really low for my age? And
if it's PMO, yeah, it's really low, and it's not, yeah, it's not, it's under our limit. So I'm afraid you cannot be accepted. I'm not saying again that you do not have chances. So if a case like that comes to me or to us, I will obviously tell them that we cannot offer them the refund guarantee program, but I will not encourage them to buy our egg donation program because we're not here to gain money out of you. We will advise you to go for a single cycle because you do have chances of success. There are certain ways you can. We will recommend you, for example, to do a couple of cycles with egg collection, embryo collection, do a PGS, and then follow a transfer. And I believe you can have success even with that low AMH. but you're not eligible for the refund guarantee.
Okay, thank you for your clarification to this as well. Okay, next one is right here. Can you recommend some clinics with guarantee programs? Are those with the better labs? As I understand, you mentioned is an important factor per your presentation, and all you, yeah, okay, sorry.
If you well, the only clinics I can recommend are clinics that we are partnering, we have agreement with. I cannot recommend any other clinics, not because they're not good enough, but because I don't know them. I know the clinics we work with. If you visit our website, which is ivftravel.com, there's a button that says our partner clinics, and you can find all of our clinics there. So I don't want to use your time now and make any recommendation, but if you see the list, you will see our clinics.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and just a follow-up question. So do you recommend clinics for patients, or the patient choose which countries, and also which countries do you work with?
It's both. I mean, if you don't have a choice, we can help you and recommend you depending on your profile and your treatment that you need, and your budget, of course, because if somebody we can recommend a clinic which is very good and is over £20,000, but if you cannot afford that, you will never buy that. So depending on your profile, we can recommend, but you may have a choice of country, and you may have a choice of a specific clinic. Then we work with you, and depending on your choices and your preferences and your profile, we find the right clinic for you. Which countries do we work with? Currently, we have Spain, Greece, Czech Republic, Ukraine, Cyprus, Georgia in Europe. As I said, we're working on the UK to expand the network there here. We work with South Africa. We work with clinics in Malaysia, in Mexico, and in India. Yeah, that's at the moment. We are also working on several more countries now as we expand to expand the network. But I believe I'm not sure where our audience is today. If they're from Europe, then European clinics would be more appropriate for them. If we have audience from North America, then we do have Mexico and Nicaragua, and we are expanding also to add US clinics in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, there's not a question right now, but perhaps you can add something to it. So, wow, the prices that you have provided previously are higher than the US, which is always the most expensive. Anything you could add to this?
No, you're comparing wrong things. You cannot compare apples with bananas. So you're comparing single cycles in the US with refund guarantee programs. I mentioned prices of refund guarantee programs. A price of a single cycle of egg donation. I mentioned egg donation 3-cycle programs. In the US, 1 cycle of egg donation with all the medication would cost about $30,000. And if you want a refund guarantee program, a 3-cycle refund guarantee program, the minimum you will pay is $45,000 to $50,000. So our price is 1/3 of that.
Yes, perfect for clarifying this. Thank you so much again. And next question. I'm wondering, how does it look from a legal point of view, as I need to sign the documents, the contract? Who are the parties of this agreement? How does it work in practice? Egg donation program.
We have a legal document. We are a company in the UK, and we sign a contract with the patient for the refund guarantee program. Obviously, the patient signs a contract with the clinic directly for the treatment itself, for each treatment they do. But we signed a contract together, and we guarantee this agreement.
Okay, thank you for answering that one. Okay, there's another question regarding how is the system of payment if the person lives in the USA, but there's a follow-up, so let me show you. Do any of the clinics that you use offer this program using a payment plan? I have seen some clinics offer IVF cycles on a pay monthly basis in the UK, but I am not sure if they are on guarantee programs. Or does the full cost of the treatment need to be paid in full? Thank you.
This is a question that comes up quite often. I'm not sure if there are clinics who offer monthly payment. Maybe there are financial organizations in the UK or clinics that work with financial organizations that offer loans. One thing, obviously, you can do is get a loan, and there are consumer loans available for you. And so you can pay the cost of the program, and then you can pay by monthly payments there. I don't know of any clinic who will offer that. What we do as a company to help, because we're not a financial organization, we are not allowed to offer loans, and if you're not FCA accredited to offer loans in the UK, you are only allowed to offer up to a minimum, a maximum, a small amount of monthly payments, and without charging any interest. So what we do, we ask for 50% deposit, and the remaining 50% can be paid in 6 monthly installments. That's the best we can do to assist, so to make it more affordable. To you, we need the 50% deposit because we need to pay the clinic for your treatment. So we cannot offer monthly payments because somebody needs to finance that. And since we're not a financial institution, we don't have the capacity to finance your treatment and to accept monthly payments from you and to charge interest to get some gains out of this. So as I said, this is the schedule that we offer: 50% refund, 50% in 6 monthly installments, or you can get a consumer loan to pay in monthly payments. If you live in the US, you can pay in. We have different systems of payment. The best way to pay is by wire transfer, and there are different companies. We work with GC Partners, we work with FX Exchange, there is TransferWise, and there's so many other companies that you can pay them in the US in dollars, and they transfer the money to our bank account here in the UK. So and payment is not an issue. We sort out the issue in the US. The only real issue we are facing is with medication, because it's not allowed to ship medication to the US. So that is the issue. So you either have to buy the medication there, and we have to exclude the cost of medication from the treatment, or you can make a first visit to the clinic in Europe for consultation. So to make 2 trips, one visit for consultation, you get all the medication with you, and then you start your treatment there and come for the transfer back to Europe.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Again, you have actually already mentioned this. Anything you could add? So from financial point of view, who do I pay to? Do I have to pay for anything at the clinic, or it goes through your company?
Yes, you pay us. If you sign us, as I said, I don't want to sound this as a promotion of the company, because I was talking about refund guarantee programs and cases, and there are other providers of that. But if you're talking about our company, yes, you pay us, and then we take, with the contract we sign with you, we get all the financial responsibilities of paying for your treatment to the clinic. You pay at the clinic only for any extras that is not included into the program. like
All right.
BGS, as I mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Thank you so much for clarifying this one as well. And you had mentioned earlier that one may not accept it for guarantee program if there are past fate cycles. How many fate cycles with egg donation would be an issue?
If it's 3 or more is an issue, as I said, but we have to we don't want to be sound like we put a strict laws in this, because it depends on we want to look at those cycles. We want to see the reason why. For example, don't want to take much of your time, but if you do an egg donation in the UK, what do clinics do in the UK? Because there's no availability of donors, they do what is called egg sharing. So you share eggs of another patient who does a cycle. Normally, these are infertile couples, and the eggs are not good. So your chances to succeed is very low. It's normally in egg sharing is below 20%. So if you have failed egg donation cycles in the UK with egg sharing, we will not count that as egg donation. We will accept you into the program. So we don't want to put some laws that are unbreakable. We want to see case by case. But usually, if you have 3 cycles of egg donation with in countries that use young fertile donors, and you failed, that means there is a serious issue. We need to see why that's the issue. If the issue is sperm, then we will recommend to use sperm donor, and then we can accept you for that. So, as I said, we will study your case and we will discuss that.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much again for answering to this question. Someone is typing, so let's give it a minute and we will make sure that we have another question. And yes, there it is. And let me just have a look. Is it a problem to travel a long way after the treatment? Because I would love to go to South Africa for my treatment, only if I can know if the clinic is in Cape Town or Johannesburg, or can I get that clinic from the website?
Yes, we have both. We have one clinic in Cape Town. It is actually one of the best in Cape Town, and we are discussing with the second, the 2 best clinics in Cape Town. One we already have contract, and the other we are in negotiation with. In Johannesburg, we work with 2 clinics. So more is on the website. The clinics we all have on the website. The clinic we are negotiating with is not yet there, but we can give you information on a personal email. Now, regarding the traveling, is not an issue if you would like to spend 1 more day. Usually in short distances, like if you travel within Europe, we recommend you to stay the day of the transfer and travel the next day. So we don't recommend you to travel on the same day of the transfer. If you travel long, like South Africa, I presume you are from the UK, right? Or even if you are from the US, that's a long way as well. We recommend you to stay 1 more day after your transfer. So do not travel on the next day after your transfer. Stay 1 more day in South Africa and travel the next.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Someone is typing. Perhaps it's a additional question. So let's give it a minute. Just want to make sure. From Netherlands. Patient is from Netherlands.
Okay, that's a long way as well. Similarly, like the UK, but yeah.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. And I have an additional question while we are waiting. So can you tell us how does it work right now, as most of the clinics are shut down because of the coronavirus, etc. Can you tell us if you have any information perhaps already how soon some of those clinics you cooperate with might be actually opened and working?
The problem is not the clinics. The clinics are opening in Spain. They're opening now. Actually, on Monday, all clinics in Spain will be open. In Greece, they will be opening beginning of May. So clinics are reopening. The problem is international travel.
Yeah.
So the clinics are opening, but they can only treat local patients because international transport is not allowed. So the issue is when airlines are going to fly again. That is the issue, not the clinics. The clinics are opening up as we speak.
Yeah, so we still need to wait for this to be over and just hope that
I,
the airlines
I,
will be back.
unfortunately, I don't have information about airlines.
Yes, of course, it's still everything is shut down. I believe that, so we need to just be patient and wait for that official announcement that it will be
Sure.
possible to travel right now.
Most of the countries I'm hearing governments, I have a sense that by the end of June, everything will be back to, not back to normal. I would say to a different normal. There
Yes.
will be measures like how to travel and wearing masks and whatnot, social distancing, but there will be the ability to travel and to do things after from end of June onwards.
Yes, exactly. And hopefully it is going to happen very, very soon. All right. There's one more question actually in the meantime showed up right here. Do you manage accommodation or anything else included in the money back guarantee?
No, we don't want to get into the accommodation part of travel agency. So, I mean, we know that this is in your fingertips, like you get into the Booking.com or whatever. I'm not advertising Booking.com, so many websites that offer accommodation. You can easily find what you want and the budget that you want. I don't. We don't want to get into that. We want to focus on what we know best, and that is IVF and the medical process.
Understood perfectly. Thank you so much again for answering that question. At this point, we don't have any more questions, but if you have any left, go ahead and type them in the chat section. If not, we will be finishing, of course, for tonight. But I already would like to thank you, Dimitris, for joining our initiative and for your presentation. This is definitely a very interesting topic. I mean, lots of patients are now waiting simply to be able to travel right now because right now they are not able to proceed with the treatments, and hopefully that will be possible, as you mentioned, possibly in at the end of the June at the end of June. We are definitely all waiting for that. Okay, there is already a shout out right here. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Happy to hear it. There's another one
Thank
actually.
you.
Thank you for informative presentation. Thank you for answering my question. So we will be finishing for tonight. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us tonight as well, and for all of your questions. I definitely know it has been useful to you. And
Thank you.
well,
Thank you for all the people who attended and listened to me. Thank you for being here, and thank you for
exactly.
the invitation. And I was very glad to support this initiative.
Yes, we are happy to have you on board, 100% sure of that. And well, we will have some more of the webinars with you, of course. So we are very happy to have you with us. And thank you for, again, being our ambassador and partner for joining the Stronger Together initiative. There are plenty of topics to tackle, so please stay tuned with all the events. We will be back on Monday as well at 6 p.m. UK time, at 8 p.m. UK time, so go ahead and register for those events to save your spot. And well, thank you so much again, and just wanted to tell and remind everyone that this has been recorded, so of course you will have a chance to rewatch it again in a few days. It will be available on our website, and let me just send it to you if you wish to get in touch with Dimitris, and have find out a bit more on the programs, guarantee programs, and where you can find them, you can also use this link, and there is an option to ask your question. You can simply use it, and it will be forwarded to Dimitris and his team. They will definitely get back in touch with you, I'm sure. And once again, remember, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram. That way you will be up to date with all the events that are already scheduled. And of course, again, thank you so much, Dimitris. It has been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening and weekend. And of course, stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.